If I'm becoming my best version and I'm always striving for my best version, that means I don't take my foot off the brake. Maybe I take 2 days off, but I'm not going to get complacent in a relationship ever again, right? I get that a lot of times we say death do us part, but nobody said that you had to lose yourself and stay there for years. And I am the partner that is going to call you out, hoping that my person will call me out as well. Once you water yourself and you become sexier, you become hotter, energized and fit in your body, you want to move, you treat yourself like you're the best thing on earth, and you find somebody that treats you like you're the best thing on earth. You come together and you're both together as the best thing on earth. That is so divine. I've sat at many tables when I was dating and I would ask guys, what are your goals? But prior to me even going on dates, I had no goals for myself. So I had to take time to learn about Hello, beautiful people, and welcome. My name is Shenese, and I make content on becoming your dream girl and reinventing yourself to be the healthiest, hottest, happiest version of yourself before the end of the year. This video today is going to be for not only my ladies, but also for the men. So welcome as well. In today's video, we're going to be talking about similar attractive traits in both men and women. When I was going through my time of being single, these were qualities that I had to work on and improve to become a high value woman that would attract and align provider men or just quality men. And I know that there are good men out there, and I know that there are good women out there as well. I think most times we think or we get really complacent in our personal lives where we don't really realize our weaknesses and our strengths in order for us to become a better companion, a better friend, a better daughter, a better person in the world. Whether you're in a relationship or single, newly single, and you're trying to find yourself again, I took 2 years off from dating to find myself in solitude. And I really worked hard on these 10 things that I'm going to mention. And even now in my relationship, I still work on these things to make sure I'm improving as a woman, as a high value woman, as the sexiest, most confident, sophisticated woman alongside by my partner. And I also make sure to hold him accountable to these 10 things as well, because sometimes in relationships, you don't really realize that you can get so complacent that you stop working on things that once were attractive to your partner or just attractive traits in general, and you let go of yourself. You let go of some morals, some values, some standards about yourself, and you don't really realize that you actually become more unattractive. A lot of times we don't really realize that our attitudes can become unattractive, our behavior can become unattractive if you're lazy, if you start to get lazy or complacent, or a person that's always blaming the other person but not really taking charge on your own personal life in your own direction, then yeah, a lot of the times our relationships don't work. And I've been there, and I had to take a few years in solitude to develop myself into who I am today. Even if you're in a relationship, it doesn't mean that you need to take solitude. You can also just remember to always take space and always do one thing for yourself daily to fill your cup, to depend on yourself, and also take space every now and then to date yourself. Take yourself out, take yourself to go get your nails done. My man likes to go by himself to get his nails done. Sometimes we go together, but it's not necessary. It's not mandatory that we go everywhere together. I remember being in relationships where we were always like this, and trust me, like we're always together, but we don't need to do everything together. And once you just get so complacent in this person that you only see life with this person, when shit hits the fan and the relationship doesn't work out, you're going to be so broken and you won't have any quality traits about you because you'll be run down. I've been there. So let's get into it. Starting with number one of my most attractive traits about a person is going to come down to whether or not this person has goals. I've sat at many tables when I was dating and I would ask guys, what are your goals? But prior to me even going on dates, I had no goals for myself. So I had to take time to learn about what do I want for myself? What do I want for my own picture, for my own storybook? What do I want for myself? And when I know, and when you end up knowing what you want for yourself, when you go on dates and you're trying to attract a partner or somebody to be in your life, even if it's a friendship as well, you will be able to tell if they align or if they don't. If you don't know who you are, you'll just accept the bare minimum. You'll accept a person into your life just because you may feel lonely or because they're good looking. I mean, I've done most of the time because they're good looking. And at one point I was like, no, this gotta stop, because these good looking people sometimes don't even have goals. It's super important to have clear goals, to have a clear vision of what you want your life to look like. And then when you combine with somebody else, it aligns, right? You guys have similar goals, similar drive, and the rest of these 10 traits that I'm gonna mention. Because if one lacks, the chances are if you're not the leader already, you're gonna lack as well. And then that's when the relationship is just going to become complacent and it's just not going to work out. I've been there. I just want to mention that your goals, like God purposely put you on this earth for you to always have your own goals in sight and in mind, for you to always be the creator of your own storybook and not follow what somebody else is doing. Oftentimes when women like me get into relationships, we have this picture of this life that we want to live and create with a person. I know for past relationships, I was like, I'm going to be a wife. I'm going to take care of the home. I'm going to do this while working, while doing the laundry and doing the maintenance. And this person had nothing to offer me. So we got to just find an equal balance and what aligns. And personally for me, I drive on what I do right now with my clients. So it just has to be like, you have to have your own goals. You have to have your own goals, because if you don't have your own goals and you're driving off of somebody else's life, you're going to get so complacent, so bored. You will have more time to nag the person than to actually pour into yourself to contribute to the relationship. Number 2 is probably one of my favorites: integrity. I love a person that can hold their word. Their actions speak louder than their word. They're reliable, they're trustworthy. Honestly, someone who just keeps their promises. And I think it all comes back to self. Like, do you keep your promises with yourself when you set a goal, or you have goals, or you have things to do? Do you follow through with it? A lot of you guys have like weight loss goals or health goals. You stop and you start, you stop and you start. You're like half committed. And that's kind of like when people enter relationships, they kind of enter those relationships half committed and just see where it goes. And sometimes when you're just going along, you just see where it goes and it goes nowhere, and just ended up wasting more time instead of just pouring into yourself. I think it's super important before getting into relationships that you really make sure that you're practicing and improving in these 10 traits. Isn't it just so attractive when someone can just follow through with their commitments? To me, when a man can follow through with his commitments and show up on what he said he's going to do, you have my heart. I grew up with a father that was in and out of my life, and rest in peace, Daddy, but he would say he's coming through, and he would, sometimes let me down. And that really disappointed me, and I really don't like when people disappoint me. I actually tend to have less expectations for people, but I always make my expectations really clear from the start, my boundaries, my standards, that like, I don't play. Like, if you can't follow through, don't waste my time, because I know what I want. And it took a while for me to learn what I want, but I'm not gonna play with you. So I deserve that same amount of respect, and so do you. Number 3, so attractive: ambition. I love people who are ambitious. I love a man that is ambitious and self-motivated. I also had to become that woman that just drives off of her own fuel. I use a lot of my pain as motivation. If anybody is looking for motivation, look at your past, look at the obstacles that you've already overcame every time you thought you couldn't overcome them. And I just love when a person can get up after they've fallen or after they just failed, and they don't let that hold them down. They are looking to improve themselves, improve on their goals, and keep the vision, and they keep showing up. Someone who is proactive and takes initiative immediately and instantly. They're not just seeking or needing extra motivation externally or seeking anything externally from anybody else. I think it's so attractive when somebody is ambitious. For me, I have a lot of goals, and it doesn't have to be all about business. I have a lot of goals just as a wife, as a daughter, as a business owner, as a human being, what I want to achieve in the world, what I want my storybook to look like. I want to travel. I want to be in good health. You know, a lot of people, they say their fitness goal is to look a certain way, but overall, it's your health, the longevity of it, how much of life you can actually enjoy because you can move, because you can run, because you can keep up. For those that are looking to have kids, you want to be able to keep up with these little minions, not just give them a device to distract them. You want to travel, you want to see the world, and that requires you to do a lot of steps and walking around. And especially when you're being intimate with your partner, it's really important for you to have goals of like training your heart and your lungs for you to be not out of breath and sounding like you're dying. Goals that we can have are endless. And it just starts with micro habits that we do daily. So if you haven't checked out any of my videos, so definitely go ahead and check them out. If you're liking my content so far and this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button because I will definitely change your life. Number 4 is going to be consistency. Now, let me just run it back to my man. When we went on a date, he was so consistent from day one. And that's what I love about people, even in friendships as well. Consistency, right? Somebody who, and it goes back again to your integrity. Someone who says and delivers on what they said that they were going to do. Someone who follows through on what they said that they were going to do. It's like the consistency is just the driving factor to you doing what you said you were going to do. Especially on days when you don't feel like showing up, on days where you don't feel your best. You know, you're not leaving me hanging. You're not leaving me on red. You're not showing up when you want to. You know what I mean? Like the consistency just shows that you respect me. You respect my time. You value me. And I think a lot of the times when I didn't get consistency in relationships and friendships, I just saw that this person didn't respect me. You know, I needed to build myself to have these 10 traits so that I would only attract and align those people who can reciprocate that. And if they don't, we just don't align. We don't work, we don't fit. And if you're not into improving and seeing where you can improve, we just don't align or we don't fit. And I need you to look at your life. You can take time out to build these traits. And honestly, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think as you improve yourself, the quality of your relationships and your friendships just get better. Because if I didn't have consistency, people wouldn't rely on me. Or my clients, I wouldn't have so many clients the way that I have them. Because I'm consistent. I'm consistent in my relationship. I'm consistent with my goals, myself. I'm consistent with my clients, my business. Consistency is very key. I'm consistent on YouTube. I post twice a week on the same day, on the same time. Consistency. Number 5, clear communication. Now, my one turn off is if somebody can't communicate, whether it's a female or a male. Clear communication. Sometimes that just goes out the window. And you know, I just hate those people that leave you on red, or they just are so emotional that they just don't speak, or they just can't be open and express how they feel. Or people who, oh, you know, my biggest pet peeve is when people that actually have my number use my number, and then when I respond, they don't respond to the response that I was giving to the response, but they can follow me on all my social medias and just see everything I'm doing. That is my biggest pet peeve, and those people I have no respect for. I honestly won't even talk to you. Like, if you can't respond or follow up and communicate on questions or concerns or a message that you went out of your way to send first, I'm sorry. Like I can't talk with you. Especially if you need my help on something and you can't clearly communicate what's going on in your life. Having a moment in your life, you can't communicate that. We're all human. And I think a lot of the times people forget who they're speaking to. They're speaking to a human, especially maybe I come off intimidating, but at the end of the day, I'm a human with emotions and feelings. And I'm very understanding. I'm very, very compassionate. I'm very understanding. When somebody doesn't translate into good communication, that is when I'm just like, I just don't have time for you. I just don't. I love somebody who can be open, honest, transparent, and just authentic. Just talk. Just say what's on your heart. As long as you have thought about it, watch what comes out of your mouth. Be open. You should be able to be around people where you can be yourself. Someone who can express themselves clearly and listen actively. Somebody who is a good listener, but also can just say what's on their mind. Just say, so we can just move forward. If you are not a good communicator and you can't just be trustworthy or reliable with like your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings, you're just gonna have me in a rat race, and I've been there. I don't have time for it. I just don't like when somebody can't be clear with me and direct. I'm so direct. And I did take time out to be in solitude. I learned that I do need to be a better communicator. I need to be more direct. I need to ask for what I want. I need to know what I want. I need to become aware of how I project things or say things, because sometimes my attitude can be a little hot, but I had to check myself. And I think a lot of people forget this one step in a relationship or a friendship. You need to check yourself. If you don't have clear communication where you can be very open about your feelings, your emotions, just your thoughts on how you're feeling, nobody can read your mind, honey. Like nobody can read your mind. I think it's really disrespectful when you don't have good communication for the relationship that you're building. Like you are way over your head if you think you can have a really good relationship or good relationships with bad communication skills. Number 6, this is actually really important, but I think underlooked. Strong relationships and friendships of how somebody treats people is huge. I think the way a person demonstrates how they show up for their friends or their family members is going to translate in how they would show up for you, how they speak of you. There's some people where you sit at the table and they will blatantly disrespect people. I can't sit with you because at the end of the day, I don't know if you're going to talk badly about me. I can't sit with people who badly talk about people, like just talk about people in the worst way and then go out with them the next day. Like I can't can smile in someone's face today and then talk badly about them tomorrow. We can't sit together. I can't date you either. It's either you like them or you don't, and we're on the same page. I'm very, very transparent. Like if I don't like somebody, I don't like somebody, and I'm not going to force myself to be around that person or even communicate or even have them on my mind. I think it's very important to see how a person values their relationships and their friendships, how they take care of each other, how they show up for each other is going to really show and translate how they would do it for you. For me, I had to build myself to be reliable, to be caring, to be nurturing. And I know that when I had high expectations in friendships and they let me down, that I had to pull back and just put the expectations back on myself. I hold myself to a certain standard to show up every single day in my business, in my relationship, in my friendships, in my family. And it shows by how I take care of myself, but also how I take care of everybody around me, even a stranger. Traits like being loyal, being supportive, those really matter when you are dating somebody or when you're friends with somebody. Loyalty is number one. Because if they are not loyal, why are you wasting your time? I just know that's just going to lead to disappointment or a lingering headache, and I don't want it. If I know I'm going to be good to you and I know I've built myself to be good to those, that's all I deserve. I only deserve the top quality contendants. I don't deserve anything less, and neither do you. Number 7, emotionally aware and balanced. And when I mean balanced, I mean somebody who has their emotional state in check, that they're not just always a Debbie Downer. I can't be around you. Being in touch with your emotions and being self-aware. When you are self-aware of how you're feeling, let me give you an example. When I know that I'm down, I do take my time and my space to myself. If I have to cry it out, if I have to lay in bed for a day, I let it be just a day or less than a day. Half the day, 1 hour, 10 seconds. But no more than a day will you see me crying for, okay? You need to become so self-aware of filling your cup when you're down that a lot of people rely or depend on external sources as their coping mechanism. And even if it's not in a person, sometimes it can be in substances, in alcohol, in going out to forget your problems. It's a turn off for me personally if a person doesn't know how to get themselves back to a normal state where they can address their emotions and really sit in their emotions and not have so much ego and pride that they don't want to face and sit in their emotions. And I know for men, they like to suppress emotions. I think it's really attractive when you can look at your person and say, hey, I'm not doing well, or I need you, or I just need a hug today. Because I know that oftentimes my man, he's a big guy and has such a warm heart, and he does go through hard days. And sometimes without him asking, I can just read his body language. And I'm like, do you want a hug? Can I hug you? And just hug him and hold him for a little bit, you know, just soothe him softly. But I also have to pay attention to my own emotions. Filling my cup is so important. Him filling his cup is so important. When you can come together and then fill each other's cup, but if you're really reliant and dependent on one person always filling you up, is a no bueno. It's a no bueno. It's not going to be sustainable. You need to learn to be aware of your emotional state and how to cope and put yourself back together without relying on the other person or your friends. And what are your coping mechanisms? If you haven't already checked out my 6 mandatory principles when reinventing yourself, whether you're single or in a relationship, definitely check out that video. It is very similar to this one when it comes to having principles and foundation over your life. Number 8 is how a person conducts themselves with grace, poise, sophistication. We all like someone who can demonstrate sophistication, somebody who their body speaks for them without them having to talk, without them having to do too much. You can already just see based on their poise, their appearance, the way that they carry themselves and what they exude. Such a bonus. How a person handles situations can tell you a lot about their character. And I think the way you carry yourself and what you exude can either help or hinder your attraction or how you stand out to people. I know if you can be very polite, the way you carry yourself with softness and grace as a woman can really be a turn on for a man. When you can problem solve without getting overheated or just doing way too much beyond necessary, a man will definitely appreciate that. And when a man can just take control of a situation, sometimes I'm like, hey, I just want to lay back for a second. Can you take care of this? If a man can really just hold himself with grace, take care of the situation, and we're good to go, I'm like, this is just so attractive for me. How somebody conducts themselves is going to be key. So sexy, so hot. Which leads to number 9, how somebody takes care of themselves. Now, when I went on many dates, working out was a non-negotiable for me. Taking care of your health is a non-negotiable for me. Drinking water, vitamins, just overall health. Honey, if I'm giving you babies, if I'm giving you my babies, I need a father around to be there for my kids. And I need you in good health. I need you to be running around with them because I'm not just going to be the fit one running around after everybody and taking care of everybody. No. I needed my person to be invested in their health just as much as I am. I am a professional Olympian bikini bodybuilder. If you didn't know, I've already done Olympia and I've done a few shows like New York Pro, Ben Weider. I've done a lot of shows in America. And I'm just taking a few years off. Diet is hard, the training is hard, the cardio is just long, but I don't date bodybuilders. I never wanted to. I've dated bodybuilders in the past, but it wasn't a deal breaker for me if this person was a bodybuilder. Just being able to see somebody take care of their physical, their mental and emotional well-being. Your mental state improves when you work out. When you've had a stressful day at work, or say your wife is nagging you or your husband is nagging you, when you go to the gym and you're just working on yourself, like when I turn around after a leg day and I look in the mirror and I'm looking at my glutes, I'm like, yes. You know, it just puts you back together. It just makes you feel really good. And I had to mention to my partner the other day, I'm like, if I'm becoming my best version and I'm always striving for my best version, that means I don't take my foot off the brake. Maybe I take 2 days off, but I'm not going to get complacent in a relationship ever again, right? I get that a lot of times we say, till death do us part, but nobody said that you had to lose yourself and stay there for years. And I am the partner that is going to call you out, hoping that my person would call me out as well. And I know some people would take offense if their partner is like, hey, like you're gaining some weight, or this isn't working out because of this, or your behavior or your actions. I think accountability is so important in relationships, because we're not always going to be in the season to take care of yourself, or sometimes you're just emotionally distraught and you just have terrible coping mechanisms. I've been there. And you need somebody to call you out. Why stay in it? Why sit in it? And I'm not trying to be the one who's sitting in a relationship, eating the breadcrumbs. I'm not trying to be looking like the girl that you're going to leave because let myself go. Also, I had no goals, so I was really dependent on you. I'm not trying to be that girl ever again. I promised myself after relationships didn't work out for me that I would have my own. I would have my own. I know myself well enough that if a man wanted to get up and leave me, I will find another one. Because too often when the relationship didn't work out, you would find me crying. You find every woman bawling her eyes out, losing sleep, not eating. And it's because we're so infatuated by our men. You know, we love our men. I'm not gonna lie. When you're in love, you're in love. And I had to find a man that was more in love with me. And also somebody like me, I'm always gonna love you. I'm always gonna be loyal to you. But I totally understand now why people say, find you somebody who loves you more than you love them. Because as a woman, you're always gonna nurture, you're always gonna provide, you're always gonna sacrifice for that other person and your kids and your family. And then you end up losing yourself. But you can do it all. And I think that a lot of people feel like they can't do it all. You just need some boundaries, but your health is still non-negotiable. Health is not negotiable. You're going to feel better. Your intimate life is going to feel better. It's going to be a lot more energizing. You just need to make sure you hold yourself accountable and you're not offended when your partner holds you accountable. But you need to also hold your person accountable. Like, we're on this earth to be our healthiest, our hottest, and our happiest self as we come together as a union. And I think a lot of people, they just get so entwined and infatuated with the direction of us always together. But along the way, you will lose yourself, and you need to know how to pull yourself out of it and continue to take care of yourself. If you take care of yourself, you'll be able to take care of other people. Let me tell you something, like, good hygiene is so attractive. When you take care of your appearance, your teeth, the way you dress, the way you carry yourself, your posture, oh God, your energy levels. Like, if you can keep up, baby, call me. I'm just joking, I'm married. But if you can keep up, that's so attractive. Like, why are you not doing your cardio? I'm telling you right now, I don't want anybody wishing for somebody else's relationship or wishing that this happened or this happens. You just got to put in that work. You got to put in daily work on yourself, and everything else will just start to align. Everything you want in your life and desire in your life, you need get off the internet of whatever your scrolling and desires are and turn it into reality, because it is actually possible. A lot of the times we compare ourselves and our life to what we see on the internet, whether it's on social media or a site you shouldn't be on. I'm telling you this right now because it's taken me time to really appreciate that when I water my own grass, when I water my own plants, I get to see it rise. Right? I get to see it blossom. I get to reap the benefits of my own plants. I don't need to look at somebody else's garden. And no neither do you. So that's why it's super important to continue to learn how to water yourself and water what's around you, right? Once you water yourself and you become sexier, you become hotter, energized and fit in your body, you want to move, you treat yourself like you're the best thing on earth, and you find somebody that treats you like you're the best thing on earth. You come together and you're both together as the best thing on earth. That is so divine. I'm gonna stop right there. Let me know in the comments if you guys want me to talk more of this subject. Let me know down below, because I don't know, it just makes me so I don't know what the word is, but if you have the word for me, drop it down below too. We're gonna end off with number 10, financially stable. It's super important that you all come in with your financial goals intact. And if you're not financially stable and ready as a man to be a provider, or just a woman who is also on that level to contribute some way, don't get me wrong, I'm a princess, but I still love to make my own money and still contribute to my man in some way possible. And I honestly love having my own money. It's super important for you to build skills, build wealth, build knowledge, for you to put yourself in positions and rooms that allow you to make your bread, make your coin, and still be able to contribute. I've been in relationships where I was lagging, or I was dependent, or because I was moving so many cities for love, I wasn't stable with my money. And that really played a role on my emotional state, because I couldn't buy the things that I wanted. I wanted a certain kind of lifestyle and I couldn't get it. And this person also couldn't provide it or help me while I was trying to figure out my job situation while I moved provinces for love. So I was like, I'm never doing that again. From now on, I need to be financially stable. I need to have a good credit score. You need to have a really good credit score. Like, super important that you talk about these things and make sure that this person is on point with their finances. If you're not on point with your finances, there's no reason why you should be in a bar or a restaurant every single day, every other day, or every weekend. Or you should not even be dating or being on a dating apps, because you know, some of you guys need to put your genitals away. Just like put that thirst and that lust away. Get your head down and focus. Become the best version of yourself, because when you end up becoming the best version of yourself and you can provide and have a lot more qualities to yourself, you're going to be the one out of 100 people. You're going to be at the top of the line for a relationship, where you might find that person who is ready at that moment. But do you even meet your own personal needs? That's when we bring it back to these 10 traits that we honestly could improve on. I'm in a relationship and I can always improve on these things, and I work on it daily so that I can become the best version of myself. And as I become the best version of myself, I'm becoming the best partner, the best daughter, the best person to others, and for you guys as well. So it's a win-win situation for everybody. But listen, I like me a man that is a provider man. He's generous. I'm generous as a woman. Me, if I go somewhere and I see like, oh, this would be so nice for my man, I always buy it, right? I buy it. I don't look at what it is. Like, I want my man to dress nice. I want him in designers too. If I like to go to nice restaurants and a man can't go to that nice restaurant and I take myself there, we can't date. I'm just like, we can't date, because if it's going to be a problem that I like certain restaurants and you don't, you want to go to McDonald's, I'm sorry, we're not aligned. I'm not stretching for this, right? You need to know what aligns and what doesn't, what you're attracted to, what you're not attracted to, what fits the bill and what doesn't. You need to have boundaries and standards, and if people disrespect them, they don't respect you. You can literally see when people don't respect you. And oftentimes we're just so infatuated, or just lusting, or just infatuated by, oh, somebody wants to be in my life, or somebody wants to, you know, spend time with me or cuddle with me. Honey, I would rather cuddle with my camera on YouTube. I love doing this. I would rather cuddle with those dumbbells in the gym, knowing that my ass is getting fatter. I would rather eat healthy and cuddle with a watermelon, knowing that I'm going to be my best self. I would rather cuddle with my books. I did that for 2 years and I became wiser. Stop with the empty relationships, the draining energy relationships, the one-sided relationships. Honey, we don't deserve that in 2024. We need to make a better decision for our lives and for our future, because whatever you want is possible. If you have to look over at somebody else's life and say, oh, I wish that for me. No, you need to turn it into reality and look at these 10 traits. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video today. I was doing my makeup and this topic came to mind and I instantly was like, let's shoot this video. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit that like button, that subscribe button, and the post notification bell for when I drop another insightful video, because you guys know I'm here to change your life and obviously add to you what I like to do best. Always, I love you guys so much. I'll see you guys in the next one.